Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored today to have in my office Lisa Jones. If you don't know Lisa, you need to. Lisa Jones is the founder and CEO of Silence No More. And with her today is Gift Wyatt. She's a board member and advocate of this organization. Lisa, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
For all the audience who is listening, it took me 4 years to get Lisa to here today. So I'm honored to have you. And I want to ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself and how did you decide to start Silence No More?
That's a hard question, right? Okay. I think it chose me. I didn't choose it. I came from an abusive home. So I took the approach of everything I felt like my family was missing. If I could replace that, I felt every victim and survivor, if they had what I felt was missing, we had a fighting chance. So I took that approach of surrounding myself, whether it was friends or organizations, community electives. I just need them to have that same approach of giving more than they have to. Educate themselves or allowing themselves to be educated. So I just took that approach and then just expanded from there.
And why Silence No More? How did it come up this in your mind to have this title?
So even once I was working with victims or survivors, kind of in the trenches, I didn't give it a title, and I would never tell my story. And so I was keeping it silent. And then I think at an award ceremony that you were at, Nicole Morris was there, and she, I was going back and forth on, becoming a nonprofit or just kind of doing it the way I was. And she said something like, not be silent no more. And I felt like that was like a sign to me, and it just stuck. And then movement came onto it because it's a community movement.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for being here. Tell me a little bit, how did you get involved with Lisa and Silence No More?
Absolutely, I would be honored to. I do want to take a moment to just thank you very, very, very much for having us here and giving us the opportunity to talk about Silence No More. It is an organization that is, I think, doing sort of unprecedented things. We had a training, and Chair Randall had said that, what we know about how to, I don't want to say deal because that feels very almost heartless and cold, but how we approach domestic violence and how we help survivors and victims, it all feels very sort of after the fact. It's very much reactive instead of proactive. And Silence No More is really trying to be a proactive leader in combating domestic violence. When I met Lisa and I heard about what she was doing, and I started reading more into it and looking at what services are available and what are the statistics, and just the enormity of what's going on is almost too much. So what's published out there is that 1 in 3 women will suffer from domestic violence, 1 in 4 men. And I'll never forget being in a room and hearing those numbers and looking around and thinking to myself, just in this room, that means, I don't know, 8 people in here are probably either directly impacted or going through it themselves, or who knows. And then that, if you think about how many people you interact with on a daily basis, whether it's just going to the grocery store and the people you see in there, or when you're going to work, or just anything, going to coffee. We went to coffee before this, and just looking around the room and seeing people in there and thinking about that, and then also knowing that the numbers are so wildly underreported that the real number is probably even scarier. And that means that it's not just up to the organizations that are currently in place. It means that it's up to all of us as individuals, as a community, as a county, to do what we can, just like Lisa said, to give more than what we have to, right? Like, it shouldn't be something that we're doing because we have to do it, but it should be something we're doing because we care about where we live and who we live in this community with. So I just felt that it was important for me to join Lisa in this crusade, to join with our other supporters and advocates who are also doing this work. And I know that as we keep growing and as the community gets more and more involved, like Lisa said, we have a fighting chance. We can really make a difference and turn the tide, and we can do something that's going to be really an everlasting legacy for this county, and hopefully show other counties and other states and other cities, and we can be an example for others on how we can do this.
Absolutely. Lisa, I know you are a lot behind the scene, and I met you a couple of years ago, and I remember I had a coffee with you, and that day when I knew you, I had my tears that day, I remember. You are so behind the scene, but you do a lot. Can you share with us different things you do, if you don't mind? I know that we can't say too much, but tell us a little bit of who is Lisa Jones? Lisa Jones behind the scene, who a lot of people, they don't know what you do.
That's a good question. I've been so immersed in this for so long. Sometimes I get in seconds and who's Lisa Jones? But to the first question, all the different things we do, they all have the same moment to it and seem the same, even though they're not. So if you walk in here, we have dessert night, the fashion show, there's the annual ceremony, the trainings, but it's all the same people in the room. People who know and keep showing up like yourself. They just keep showing up, which means you're spreading the word. You don't try to talk action, talk, maybe just kind of, what's the word I want to say, action means everything. Action, I'd rather see action than speaking about it. But if you keep bringing these people together, not just on the mission itself, but sometimes just to have us all together in a room, whether we're doing a dessert crowd or we're laughing together, you're still sitting next to a survivor, or you're sitting next to a current victim or a support system. It's just we're not talking about it. We're just enjoying each other's company. I feel like when we do things like that, you go home and talk about it. You share it with cousins. You start seeing things you didn't see before, when it's not just kind of shoved in the face. So it's really important for the community to come together and learn that. Sometimes you can be educated that way just by conversation. So that's why so many different things. Me behind the scenes, I'm so focused on this. I don't even know how to have regular conversations anymore. I don't. I just said to a group of us, I need to paint, and that way I kind of rejuvenate. And typically I try to paint. I want to. I haven't done it in 2 years, but painting kind of balances out the nature of what we're doing. So behind the scenes is that I'm a homebody, it doesn't seem like it. But yeah, just focusing on how to make a change better, and not rushing it, just making sure it's right. So yeah, behind the scenes is still this. It really is.
Thank you for everything you do. If any, from the time you joined with Lisa, any accomplishment as a group together, you are proud on. You did. I know that you help a lot of people. But any accomplishment this year or last year so far, you did focus on, and you are so proud on that it has been done successfully.
Yeah, I think that the thing that I'm most proud of, and that I think was really truly just impactful in so many ways, is we had a training that we put on, and there were a lot of different people in the room. There were businesses that wanted to know how they could be a support system. There was our local government partners were in the room. We had departments that their whole aim is to provide services to families here in Loudoun who are going through domestic violence or the aftermath of domestic violence. There were so many different people in the room. The Commonwealth Attorney's Office was in the room. We had a lot of very big players in the room, but most importantly, we had a panel of survivors. And these survivors, they all came from different backgrounds. They were different age groups, different demographics, different experiences in how they experienced domestic violence. And I think that's really important because we tend to have a very static idea of what domestic violence looks like, and it's the black eye and I ran into the door or I fell down the stairs, but it's so much more than that because it's the control, it's the isolation, it's the mental and emotional and verbal abuse, and it's really important too to show that it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what age you are. None of that matters because domestic violence doesn't see color or economic status or it doesn't see any of that. It affects honestly every single person. It's a disease. It doesn't care who you are. It's not going to leave you alone just because you fit some sort of bucket. It will literally affect anyone and everyone that it can. And so having this panel of survivors and having the ability to really facilitate conversations between survivors and the folks that really have an ability to make a difference in that immediate aftermath, in the following 2 years after they leave an abuser, really honest conversations of, this was my experience, from the first phone call of, I need help, to 6 months later, this is what my experience was, and it needs to be better. We all need to do better, and things that worked. It wasn't just a conversation about things that didn't work, but it was a real conversation from people who had been through it, who could then speak to the people who are trying to make the system work to support survivors. But you have to have those conversations in order to iron out all the details and to make sure that the systems that are in place are going to do what they're supposed to do, and you can't do that without talking to people who've been through it. So to be able to listen to their stories, to hear a lot of the conversation that, again, our partners who were in the room were giving to us, and having these conversations with the survivors. Everybody who left that training really felt the magnitude of what we had just done, and it may not have looked like a lot because it wasn't like we didn't sign a bill or put any legislation into action or anything like that, but we did the most important thing. We took the first step, we had the conversations, and we opened the floor so that the people who can help are hearing from the people who needed the help, and together they're going to be able to make the system work that much better for the folks who, unfortunately will need help in the future.
And it was almost too like eliminating a third party. You were directly at the source, whether you are a business or just a community member or family or friend of an abused person. You were directly in that room. It was really powerful.
So Lisa, the victims come usually from? Is that from a, I mean, how people know about Silence No More? How they're knowing? Are you partnering with like that? How people are coming to you? Because I know that it was a lot of, you had a lot of people victims. So how these come? Are you partnering guys between Fairfax and it's only Loudon?
So I've been doing this, it's over 2 decades.
Yeah.
And keeping someone's comfort zone, things private. I've done that. So in DC, Maryland, Prince William County, Herndon, different counties, I've been able to partner with resources, different mom and pops and nonprofits. So it's I'm able to access different platforms for help. And so by word of mouth, what I do in the community is spread. And right now, in Loudoun County, I think since 2017, we've really been pushing. And so through word of mouth, people email me directly.
Yeah.
And so now going into 2025, we're gonna get a better way because Silence No More can't handle different victims and people coming back. In 2025, we'll have it handled and handle a lot more victims.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about events. I know that you had the fashion show, and it was great 2 weeks ago. So tell us a little bit during the year. You do a couple of events. Can you share with us?
The fashion show is really special because it's a combination of survivors and support systems, which means you are seeing victims and survivors are seeing directly support systems stepping outside their comfort zone. So when you're in the audience and watching, the videos throughout the year, you see these people like Gift, Carol Barb, Stacey Metcalf. You're just seeing different Kendra Dion. It's like 11, 12 people are come together who this is not their thing. They're saying to you, I'm going to step aside my comfort zone. And I'm going to rock this for you so you can see we're here, we believe. So that's one of my favorite events, and that's our signature event to raise money, and in the audience are people who support throughout the entire year. So that's pretty special. But these events are like community excursions, which you definitely need. I think that's the question you asked me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's out of everything we do, that's one of my favorite because you have support systems, you volunteer 4 times out of the month, a year, to get the fashion show right. Gift herself, I think Erica Rowe, I know I'm leaving somebody out, Katie Snyder, over 600 hours of volunteering just alone for the fashion show. And then, showing up for the ceremonies, for the trainings, the talks, the meetings, things like that. It's time consuming. And everybody has a full-time job. So being able to, as a survivor, as someone running a nonprofit, being able to witness something like that is the most motivating thing. So I know you asked Gift, what are you most proud of? To look and see people like this, who shows up every single time, whether I give her notice or not. It tells you you're on the right path. It feels so good to have a trusted core who thinks this is just as important. So all of these things throughout the year, I get to witness, and it is.
And it will come in the end, Lisa. We believe in you. That the thing is, we believe in you, and we know what you're doing is extraordinary, unbelievable, great, and you can't be alone. It's always the community show that you are not alone.
I didn't. Loudon is a very special place. It is. I've been really blessed, even for yourself. You've shown up for trainings and the training we did with Women Giving Back. When you said to the trainer, I won't forget, I want to take this training back to my people so they're educated. And that's
which is actually they're coming.
That's what it's about. That's what it's
give a
about.
presentation for my employees. So thank you. That day when I was there, I didn't know what's going on in my world, really. I mean, between Loudon and Fairfax and the stuff I learned and I knew, I didn't know. And that's why I thought in my mind, oh God, I gotta bring this to my employees too. So everybody needs to be aware, because the problem is, and you know, you probably mentioned, there's a lot of people that are not speaking up, and we need the people to speak up. If they are under abuse, and they need to speak up.
But those trainings help, and if we can decrease, like the average victim goes back 7 to 12 times, which the rollout from that is, depression, more abuse, just a huge rollout. If we can decrease that number, that's a domino effect in every direction. So it's like, you've got me that's showing up as a business, you're showing up as a friend now, that makes you, I don't want to say a mouthpiece, that's not the word, but it is.
Supportive. That's the most.
But you spread the word, that's knowledge.
Supportive, because
You're an advocate.
I know, and I know science more, and I know the work you do, and that's very important. Anything, Lisa, you're thinking to accomplish in year 2025? Do you have any mission?
So with us, I truly believe, like some people are in situations for 10, 12 years, and so when you do get help and you get out of it, sometimes it takes you to get away before it actually start affecting you to know where you've been. And so having help that lasts, a week or 2 months is not going to help. The biggest thing for us is a 2-year plan, like where you are supported for 2 years is the goal. And so we started phase 1 in 2024, which was April 12th. And that's having a community together. Chair Randall, Supervisor Crispin was there. We did have the compliment attorney. You had a LC WAG. You just had a lot of people in the room that were ready to help and kind of commit to saying this is what we do. So supporting 2 years is the plan. So that's what we're working on going to 2025 and making sure everybody gets has the resources available for what they need. That's the main factor of 25. And just keeping on the events and the togetherness. Thank you.
How can we help as business owner or any individual who is listening right now and they want to get involved with Silence No More and help you, Lisa, on this huge mission? And, I call it mission because this is probably will never end. You started to have your passion about it and you want to continue it. And we want a lot of listeners here who listen to come and join you, to lift you up and lift this organization for help more and more and more. How can we get involved as business or individual?
Well, for one, like you did, showing up those trainings, because awareness is key. I mean, donations is beyond important, but awareness, so you know if you see it, or when you do see it, what do I do? I get that question a lot. A friend might have somebody in trouble and they go, I'm not sure what to do. Because I don't want to lose that friend, or so educating yourself and showing up to the trainings is very important, and you'll learn, what sex trafficking, human trafficking, all those things. So showing up for that, donations is very helpful, because to have the trainings, for the sensitivity trainings, for the ceremonies, there are, it's costly, but it has to happen. That's how we come together. So that 2025, we'll be taking on more volunteers, and we'll have a process with, we have to check out the backgrounds and all these things to make sure it's safe.
Absolutely.
So we'll be doing more of that, but just showing up. That is the biggest thing.
How can we know when those training happening? Where is that everything on your website? Can you share the website with the listeners?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
It's 99% complete, and I call it that, and it's Silence No More after that, but it's just because, like you said, this is not going anywhere until it's complete. It's not 100% complete, but we are on Facebook all the time with the Silence No More movement. I post a lot from my platform of Lisa Jones, and we always post the next events, which you do have to reserve, because of the nature of it. So I think November 8th, we have our next Survivor Support System honorary ceremony at the Government Center. So
Yeah.
you can,
I was there
Sign up for
last year. It was wow.
it's important to acknowledge support systems, especially if you're friends with me. It's a little hard because I expect so much. They had a running joke about don't answer the phone call for me, but I you do trust somebody so much. And I used to say I feel like back in the day, gift would have been a getaway driver. To get my family away, get my mom away. When you have that type of support, you want to celebrate and honor it. So that's I think besides the fashion show, the ceremony is one of my favorite.
And also, you take people from the Bucks County, correct? Not only now
Not just
Fairfax County or maybe Princeton. As long as somebody need help, they can reach out to you.
Yeah, pretty much so. And we're still trying to get that platform together so we can make sure mental health is taken care of. Helping to strengthen things like that. Partnering with like Women Giving Back, so if you need clothing.
Nicole is just amazing job she's doing on this organization.
So that's a big part of the 2-year platform, so that when you are reaching out to me, it's that you need immediate help. So yeah, if you stay tuned, come to the trainings, and referrals are great. So when you refer somebody, we know that we can trust that referral. When Women Giving Back refers. So if you just reach out to us directly, it is a chance we do background check, so we do know that we just can't help you just with that. I do want that to be known. But yeah, it takes
Lisa, thank you very much for being here. We will share, if you don't mind, I would like to share your email. So if somebody would love to reach out to you from the audience, thank you for everything you do. Let us know how can we help. I'll tell you there's a lot of probably of business owners listening right now, and maybe they don't know Lisa. If you don't know Lisa Jones, go out and have coffee with her, and you really, and Gift will be joining. I mean, great board members too you have around.
amazing.
And we are here for you as business and individual supporters. So
We appreciate you so much. You've been supportive for a couple of years, showing up, and even this, thank you for having me.
thank you. Thank you for being here and your time too. I'm lucky to have you here. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.